Hi folks, welcome back to Math with Captain Rod. I'm making this video here to talk about direct and inverse variation, or other wording that's used. Sometimes you'll see wordings in math books or science books that say directly proportional or inversely proportional. So the first step in dealing with variation is knowing what these things mean. When two variables are directly proportional to one another, let's take x and y. That means that when x gets bigger, y gets bigger. And if they're directly proportional, that means if you double x, you double y. Or if you triple x, you triple y. So mathematically, if y varies directly with x, that mathematically means y is equal to some constant times x. Now, the direct proportional means a constant and a product. Here, y is varying directly with just x, but in some examples, y could vary with x squared. That would mathematically look something like this. Y equals a constant times x squared. Or perhaps y is directly proportional to x cubed. That would look like y equals some constant times x cubed, and so forth. So this equation means y is proportional to x. This one means y is proportional to x squared. This third one means y is proportional to x cubed. And I could keep going this with any power of x I want. One more example. If y were directly proportional to the square root of x, that would mean y equals a constant times square root of x, and so forth. Okay. Let's talk about inversely proportional or inverse variation. So with inverse variation, when you're looking at two variables, maybe x and y, inverse relationships inherently mean that when this one gets bigger, this one gets smaller. Mathematically speaking, if one variable such as y is inversely proportional to x, that means y equals some constant over x. So this equation here is saying y inversely proportional to x. Now, another example, perhaps y is inversely proportional to x squared. That would mean mathematically y equals a constant over x squared. Or maybe y is inversely proportional to x cubed. Here's what that one would look like. Or maybe y is inversely proportional to square root of x. Right? So directly proportional basically means multiplication, and you set up an equation with some unknown constant. Inversely proportional means you're going to have a fractional type of relationship. You set up an equation with some unknown constant. And again, if y varies directly with x, your function will look something like this, or the equation you use will look like this. If y varies directly with x squared, you'd get something like this, x cubed, root x, and so forth. Inversely proportional relationships, if y is inversely proportional to x, you're going to set up an equation that looks something like this with some constant. This one is saying y is inversely proportional to x squared. This one is saying y is inversely proportional to x cubed. This one is saying y is inversely proportional to square root of x. And again, I could basically make an infinite number of examples of these. Usually when you're solving problems that are in this realm, there'll be some statement about proportionality, directly or inversely. You write some sort of equation that might look like one of these, or perhaps one of these. Typically, you'll have some constant that you'll have to determine. You'll find that by putting in values that you're given in the specific problem. I think I'll save the examples for a different video. I'm just going to leave this one alone for now. It's at about 4 minutes. It's just meant to be kind of an introduction to the idea of directly and inversely proportional relationships. Have a great day.